Hi Virgo, Happy New Year! This is your January 2015 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com, where you can find out my birth chart calculator and you can check what your ascendant sign is, its degree, also the sign of your moon if you want more in-depth prediction, but definitely check out your ascendant sign if you know your time of birth, because it astrologically points what the physical body is. The ascendant sign, it shows what tangible events happen to you on your path in life. So it's very personal. And also you can find out there a selection of wonderful astrologers and psychics that I've observed for years their work, and I've invited to promote them on my website, to cooperate with me, because I personally guarantee for the quality of their work. These are teachers of mine, these are people with much more experience and who have amazing contributions to astrology and to amazing predictions which seem to happen over and over again. So I personally guarantee for them. And you can ask their advice 24/7 there. Anyway, what does January 2015 hold for you? Virgos. I'm a bit tired already. Okay, how do you start the year? Let's see. First big important thing is that Mercury goes retrograde into your 6th house, and this is the house of Mercury anyway, and it will be there for 2 months. Mercury stays in your 6th house in Aquarius, which is your 6th house, for about January, February, and in March you start seeing the results of the effort and the work that you've done. And 6th house is about routines, is about revising work routines and efficiency. So this is what you'll be doing. You'll be, by the end of this process, by March, if you've been conscientious enough and put the right kind of effort, you'll realize, and you'd feel called to do it. You'd feel like pushed or impelled from within to do this for January and February, to improve on your routines, to revise how you do your work. By the end of this process, by March, when you started it, it usually would take you 2 hours to get some job done at your work or at home, some task. By the end of this Mercury retrograde in your 6th house, it would take you, you'd have devised a plan or a more somehow effective way of dealing with tasks and duties and responsibilities, which is 6th house, and daily routines in a more efficient and faster way. So you'll be able by the end of this process to get a job done for half of the time. So imagine how much, and this happens very rarely, that Mercury retrogrades into your 6th house. It's like once in many years chance for you to really improve on those, and to improve on it by basically by observing how the process is going and rationally restructuring it. So basically, by the end, you'll be either more organized, more clean in some way, more faster and efficient in how you do your work at home or at work, how you do your responsibilities. And some restructuring and changes might be happening also in your workplace, because 6th house rules our work responsibilities. And some kind of a job or project or work that you did before might come back for you a few times. It has to be revised a few times in January and February before it gets the green light, because a retrograde planet means something is coming back. Something has to be done or redone 2-3 times, and in particular it will be to do with your work in some way, to do with your responsibilities if you're not working in a place somewhere, to do with your daily chores and responsibilities at home. And it's some job or something that you have to fix or to relook at a detail a few times. And by the end of the process, it's frustrating when you have to do something a few times to redo it, but at the end of the process, it gives, when a planet is being retrograde, it demands much more of your efforts, much more of your attention to detail. It's a bit more frustrating, longer time, but by the end of this retrograde movement, which comes in February and March in particular, you get much more longer lasting and fulfilling results of the work you've done. And in particular, it will be in regards to arranging something with your routines, with your health routines as well. Some of you Virgos might be you know, revising how you do exercise, revising how you live your lifestyle, in the sense that maybe some routines of yours are not healthy, and these things you know, you have to change in some way. And this is what Mercury retrograde brings to attention. It shows where things are not working properly, where they're breaking down, or they're breaking down your body. Maybe you're stressing too much at work, maybe you're not walking enough, maybe you're living in an area where it's very dirty air and you don't get enough clean air, so this is affecting your breathing and health, because 6th house rules illnesses. So Mercury retrograde in your 6th house can bring to the attention some recurring health problems, something that you've probably hasn't appeared for a while, but it comes back again. Because it's trying to pay attention for you to your environment, to how you're living your lifestyle, the routines and the regimes you have, whether it's you're smoking or you're eating greasy food, or you're not having enough movement, or you're stressing too much at work, and anything like that can, you know, increase a health problem right now, or any kind of discomfort that you feel, so you can eliminate it. So you can eliminate it, or redo it, or change it in some way, and move forward more healthy, with more productive body, with more efficient ways of dealing with the stresses of daily life, with more efficient ways of fulfilling your responsibilities overall. But usually at the end of this process, the person feels much more organized, almost much more cleansed physically. It can be a great time for, you know, revising your health habits, a great time for even doing some health habit in a different way, you know. Anyway, so that's some of the big important news that are happening, and some work projects might come that need to be redone a few times. And Venus is also in your 6th house in January, which makes all this whole process a bit more pleasant and a bit more enjoyable for you, because Venus shows where we feel more enjoyment. And Venus also rules kind and loving feelings to another person. And 6th house rules people that work for you, people that are below you somehow, maybe people that, whether it's your cleaner, or whether it's the people that are with you in the office, you know, you might have more improved relationship there. And overall, in January and February, you would restructure some of the relationships with people and colleagues and employees of yours as well. You restructure how you lead those relationships, how you lead the whole process of work as well with those people. But let's see what else is happening. Mars is going into your 7th house, and it's going to be there in January, February, from the middle of January to around the most of February. And Mars goes into your 7th house once every 2.5 years, which means that once every 2.5 years for about a month and a half, 2 months at most, Mars energizes, because Mars is a very energetic planet, your 7th house, which is, first of all, sexual house, energizes your sex drive. Every time I have Mars transit in my 7th house every 2.5 years, I'm like, ooh, what's happening to me? I'm getting all those kinky, or, you know, more, definitely the sex energy stirs up. 7th and 8th houses are sexual houses, connecting with another person. So definitely there can be a bit more excitement there happening, and even opportunities in that sense. 7th house is any relationships with people, business relationships, personal relationships, marriage relationships. For relationships in the initial stages, this can be quite exciting, you know, because it creates stronger sexual chemistry between the two people when Mars is in the 7th house. For relationships that are already in full swing, Mars is a bit angry, so if this energy is not utilized for, you know, the other activities that we talked about, or maybe for doing some project together, being active together in some way, going for long walks, or deciding that you fix something at home together, or deciding that you do a project together that requires energy a lot, then if you're not using your energy this way, Mars starts getting frustrated. So what happens is that you might have more conflicts and arguments at home. A bit more power struggles. It's not necessarily for this to continue for the whole month and a half that Mars is in your 7th house, but definitely, at least for a week, you'll feel this stress and this pressure that's around there. Sometime in January, sometime in February. So when you feel more frustrated in the next 2 months, especially by a partner or other people, remember, oh, it's Mars in my 7th house. So I should either do some vigorous activity with them, whatever you decide, I'm not giving you any ideas, or I should cooperate on some project with them that requires more energy, or, you know, I won't overreact. I won't allow the devil to use me for his purposes, because wherever Mars transits, our a bit more devilish side can come out, and a bit more rebellious and angry side and power struggles. But someone can definitely be stepping a bit more on your toes, a partner, business partner, marriage partner, relationship, and you can resolve it again by more heated conversations, sometimes even arguments, not recommended, but sometimes it's needed. You know, sometimes you need to fight in order to solve something. So power struggles are a bit more, but also doing exciting projects with others, partnering one-to-one, especially more vigorous, such exciting projects might be good for you. And you should be proactive as well. If you're single, 7th house rules relationships. If you're single, Mars is in your 7th house, it shows, you know, that wherever Mars is, this is the area of your life that gets proactive, and 7th house is other people. So actually, other people can start approaching you more and being more pushy towards you, and or if you're single, trying to approach you more. Even if you're a man, you might feel that you're attracting women that are coming on to you a bit more strongly right now, because the initiative is in them, is in the 7th house. And if you're fighting some fight right now, guys, in January and February, Leos, if you're, Virgos, if you're fighting some fight with Mars in your 7th house, it feels like the other person has the upper hand. It feels like the ball, let's say, is into the court of the other person, of the opposition, whether it's with your spouse or whether it's with someone else. So best advice would be to take the more diplomatic approach, instead of trying to win over, because the energy is in your 7th house, the other person is stronger, and to try to coax them in some way, you know, or to make them your allies rather than confront them, because, you know, the energy is with them, it's not with you so much. Let's see what else. Another very important thing that I'm seeing, Virgo, is that Saturn is going to start aspecting some of your, the planets, some of your, basically Saturn goes into your 4th house, and already starts influencing Virgo very strongly, but not everyone will feel Saturn. Saturn will be felt mostly by those of you who are born from the 24th of August to around the 28th. So basically the first 3 days of Virgo, the first 4 days of Virgo. Or if you have your ascendant or your moon from 0 till 4 degrees in Virgo, you will have a Saturn transit. And Saturn transits are all about getting more responsibilities, getting more pressure on you, more demands. It's a stage of maturation for a person when they have a Saturn transit. And it will continue for you almost whole year, almost 1 year. It will be very intense now in January, maybe February, then again it will come a few months later, very intense, and then again towards the end of the summer or the autumn of 2015, something will start happening now which puts you more responsibilities, more duties, even something you might not want to be dealing with, and more test of your perseverance and dedication, and only the things will stay in your life, if you're born on those degrees, and the process starts from now, only those things which you're very dedicated and committed to will stay. Whether it's relationships, usually if it's your ascendant from 0 to 4 degrees, it will be connected to relationships, it will be connected to things that are on your path in life. If it's your sun, usually it's career and what you want to do in life, the main role you want to play, how you want to, you know, to be presented in society, to be remembered with your work. If it's your moon, usually it's with personal, emotional relationships and habits. So only such things will stay in your life when Saturn is around, which are really constructive for you, which are really important for you, and that you really put effort. Otherwise, they'll become so demanding, those things, on your relationships or career, and if they're not the right ones, you won't have the dedication and the perseverance to carry through. So either they'll leave you, you won't put the right amount of effort, or they'll be taken away from you, or you'll be the one who gets disappointed and leaves those things away. But the things that you really love, the things that you really care for, the things that you really are important for you, they'll be strengthened some way, but they will require harder work than other times, because they'll be tested, require harder work, and by the end of this process, a year from now almost, they'll be strengthened and much more solid, and you'd have built such more stronger foundation. Then you'd have overcome those obstacles that brought you together in a relationship or brought you closer to a goal, say getting a higher promotion, but definitely more responsibilities and pressures on you, and you're expected, if you want good results, to act mature, to act responsible, not to throw tantrums, not to be angry with fate or the world or get depressed. Saturn people can get depressed around it because they feel a bit overwhelmed. You know, it's maturation. You're required to deal with serious matters now. If life was kind to you, all of a sudden life now puts you on a test. But don't get scared as well. I love Saturn transit. I feel a bit more down. I have more responsibilities than other times. But this is when I started my business. This is when I took new responsibilities. I always do most important things on Saturn transit. I even got married on a Saturn transit. This is when you take newer responsibilities more. It's daunting, it's scary, it's overwhelming. But if you persevere, if you're in the right place with the right person, the right career, it gives you great results. So anyway, this is what I see for you Virgos. Around the middle of the month, around the 15th of January, just Mars in your 7th house has a difficult aspect. Be careful from being frustrated with other people and partners or tensions with another. But otherwise, the rest of the month, the focus is on, again, we said, especially January and February for all of you Virgos, on doing those restructuring and paying attention to the routines, daily health routines, efficiency of your work. Some responsibilities come back to you to be redone a few times, and by the end of the process you'll be much more efficient and productive. Thank you. Oh, healthier.